Welcome to the Marketer's Blueprint. My name is Nathan Gibson, and I am a business connection specialist here with Business Marketing Engine. And then I have Gabe Arnold here with me as well, and we're going to go over some fun stuff today. So, do you have anything to say to get things kicked off, Gabe?
Yeah, this is our first episode, which is always exciting on a new podcast to do that. We have been putting out the Marketer's Blueprint as an email newsletter for a long, long time. I don't know how long, months and months, or maybe a year or more.
Yeah.
And that we share a bunch of great things in there, and I just wanted to go deeper and share some more kind of the behind the scenes and deeper content around it. And so Nathan and I always have a blast together, and we thought it'd be fun to share these conversations with everyone. So I'm excited to have everybody here and appreciate everybody listening.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I've always wanted to dabble in the podcasting world, and I've learned a lot over my time here at BME and being mentored by you. I think we have a lot of great things to share with the world, and we have some really fun topics today. So today's topic is AI actually taking over marketing? So there's a few things we're going to discuss about that. We're going to explore how and when to use AI in your marketing, because there is a lot of different ways you can use it and a lot of ways you shouldn't use it. So let's dive right into that. In your opinion, what do you think that the benefits of using AI in marketing are?
Yeah, we've been using AI as a team for got to be like 4 or 5 years. I looked it up recently because it really, really hit last year and this year.
Yeah.
Mainstream, but we've been using AI for, 3+ years, 4, maybe 5 years. And I think where it's really helpful to use is as an assistant, as an idea generation, as a support, because where I primarily use AI is like, if I'm like, oh, I want to teach on this topic that I know things about, like I've done this for years, but like, what's a good structure to teach cold calling, or like you and I do a lot of conversation around that, or
Yeah.
what would be a good structure for an email series that's going to do a product launch for a new e-commerce product that we're launching for a customer. I'll go in and ask a very clear descriptive question, and I'll give very clear instruction. As an example, like if we do the e-com thing, I would say, write me a 7-part email marketing series that's launching my new hot sauce. We have an awesome hot sauce customer.
Yeah.
We sell a ton of hot sauce for them, and make sure you hit on these points. And here's a description of the product. I will write a very long, specific prompt to basically give a project brief to the AI assistant. And then it'll spit back a great email framework that then I'll go in and customize and make sure is in my voice and style and is like really authentic and accurate. I use it to build frameworks and to rough things out. I never put AI copy and paste out there, and there's so many people that are doing that right now. It's really damaging their brand and their results too, unfortunately.
100%. Yeah. And in my experience with AI is a wonderful tool that when used correctly can help you come up with new ideas, refresh your brain on new topics and things like that. But it's, as you said, it's not a cut and dry service to use to fully put your content out there. All of your ideas should still be personalized to you as a person and should be utilized in the proper manner. So some of the things you touched on is like idea generation strategy. Content enhancement is huge too. So say you have a great framework for an idea and you just need some embellishment, some ideas, some, refreshing thoughts on the matter. AI is really great to do that. Something you taught me really well, and something you can touch on a little more here, is the prompts that you put into AI tools can serve you very greatly the more detailed you make those prompts. What are some tactics that you use in your prompts? I know you mentioned that you put it in my style and my voice. I know you've built AI tools to be able to do that. What are some things that you use to make those prompts as valuable as possible?
So there's a mindset piece of that. I'm glad you're asking. That's really key, and that is all of us up until generative AI, machine learning came out, have had to interact with computers at a low intelligence level. So we've all been trained to get onto Google and search in a way that Google understood.
Right.
So, we'd have to like best local restaurants.
That's a good one.
We'd put in there, or best local barbecue restaurant. We put in a simple term with specific keywords because that's how we had to interact with a search engine.
Right.
But now with AI platforms we have, and now that AI is in Google and other things like that now, I can go in and say, I am looking for a local barbecue location that is within 10 miles of Cleveland, Ohio. I want to make sure that there's really nice ambiance there. I want to make sure that they serve both beer and liquor. I want to make sure it's appropriate for parties of 20 people or more, because like I have a huge family. If we were all going to go, I would need to
For
know
sure.
that. And do they have gluten-free options? Because my wife is gluten-free.
Yeah,
So the way that we give a prompt, we need to remember that it's as if we're talking to the most helpful, intelligent concierge service at a hotel, and we say, "Here's all my requirements," and they go, "Oh, like this. Here's some options for you."
right.
Um,
Full service can really serve you. The more information you put into it, the better it can serve you.
yeah, and so it's a mindset shift because we've been trained to interact with technology in a straight line, or in this is the only
For
format
so
that will
long.
actually, yeah, for all of the time we've had technology the way we have now,
Yeah.
like computer technology. So it's really about reminding myself, oh, like obviously if I'm going to hand off a task to you, Nathan, I write you a pretty specific email. I say, here's my ask, and here's the reason why I want it done, and here's all the
We use the ARC
context.
format.
Yeah, and I say, and I need it done by next Friday. Like, um, so I have to remind myself, like, I'm not interacting with a sentient being at all, but I am
True.
interacting with something that has instant access to volumes of data and intelligence that's been built into the system. So treat it intelligently and be hyper specific, and you'll get better results. And I love that I hope and I feel like AI is teaching us to be more thoughtful in our communication in general.
Right.
Because if we're intentional with what we're communicating, we're hyper specific, we get amazing results. Because I can also put in there, if I'm asking it to write something, like use a really friendly tone, or act as if you were a Ivy League professor and speak at the doctorate level, or
Right.
which is would be a rare case of kind of content you put out there
And you
that
can do it the opposite way too. Make this
exactly.
very easy to understand, make it simple and concise. So whatever
Yeah,
audience that you're going for to create this information for, you can suit it to that.
exactly.
Um, Something that I like that you do, and this is something that I've adapted into my use of AI as well, is being polite with the AI. Your
Yes,
intention shows in everything that you do. Just because it's a tool that you're using, just because it's not sentient, say please and thank you. You know,
exactly.
if you're emanating that and reflecting that even into something as simple as an AI service, that will show in other areas of your life. I always thought that was a super funny thing that you do, and I started doing it as well because we don't want the AI to get upset with us. We should say please and thank you.
I yeah, I remember when you noticed that and pointed that out, and I mean that's just how I want to show up, because I know that the universe reflects back to me, and so if
Right.
I want people to be kind to me, I show up kind. Like if and everything is energy. Like we could look at that from a physics standpoint, we could look at that from an energetic spirituality standpoint, but everything is energy.
Yeah.
So like I talk nicely to my plant that's on my desk because it will grow better. There's scientific proof of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, even when I'm using a
It's
tool,
crazy.
I know it's going to work better for me if I'm kind to it. So yeah, I'm kind to my AI.
Yeah.
So
I love being kind to everything, including AI and plants. If you don't take anything away from the podcast today, be nice to your plants.
that's right.
Um, so that's a lot of great positive things to use AI for, but something we touched on at the very beginning of the episode today is that there are times where you need to limit your use of AI. You do not want it to be a one size fits all platform, just like our services at BME are usually never one size fits all. So, what are some key areas where you feel like you shouldn't use AI or limit your use of AI?
Yeah, like I said, it's great for idea generation. It's great for frameworks. It's great to refine things. So we've really talked about that. But the more technology we have, year over year, decade over decade, the more that I find it's so critically important to do things like just sit down and record yourself talking to process. Just do that. Like, and then you can listen
Yeah.
back to that. Or I've for a handful of years really didn't write down much by hand on paper, but I've actually spent time over the last couple of years like kind of rehabilitating my handwriting, and I sit down and just on a big open sketchpad journal often quite a few mornings during the week, and
Yeah.
that type of processing is very different than using a computer or typing something or being mechanical. So from a personal standpoint, I think that getting back into some kind of creative work is really key. I also think that like when it comes to there's ways to get like big ideas from AI, and you can totally use it for idea generation. But
Hmm.
I think that our best ideas come from our higher power, come from our, being in nature. And so while I will at times use AI to, prompt ideas or come up with things, my best ideas still come to me when I'm taking a walk out in nature. And so I think there's things like that we want to keep away from. The other thing that is really obvious, even if people aren't consciously observing, unconsciously, it's always observational, from the human to human standpoint, is AI images of people have
Yes.
an energy or a dissonance to them that will make your brand dehumanized. And
Right.
all people buy from people. And so there's small pieces of design work that we use, AI tools for, but we don't
Right.
fully rely on AI to create images because it's easy to spot and kind
Especially
of,
when it's a person. It
yeah,
is.
exactly.
It
Especially when it's a
really.
person.
Yeah, it dives into that uncanny valley. I've talked about this a lot with the team, the design team, marketing strategy, and things like that. It is almost instantaneously noticeable, at least where
Yeah.
AI is at right now. And there
Right.
are things that AI makes image wise that are great, pictures of food, settings, places, and
Yeah.
things like that. There are very minor errors in those, but they're way less easy to see than people
Yeah.
because we as people are trained to see when we see a person, we analyze all of the features and things like that. It's like I don't remember what it's called, but when you see an object and it looks like a face, it's
Hmm.
because the human instinct is to try and recognize things as human faces. And so
Hmm.
when you create an AI image of a person, it actually does trigger your fight or flight response. It's like, oh my gosh, that's strange. In
Yeah.
my day-to-day work, a lot of times I'll see websites where their very first image is an AI person and the eyes are just not quite right. And it
Yeah.
makes me as a person, it can vary from person to person, but it makes me very uncomfortable. So that's something I was going to touch on as well, is at least right now where AI is, I would shy away from using especially AI faces of people because it's
Yeah.
just always immediately noticeable.
Yeah.
So,
And even so, yeah, so like low quality output of human faces and human characters like hands and things like that,
right.
we can spot and go, oh, that's funky, it's weird, it must be AI. But there's another end of the spectrum where I know people that are working in AI and are creating perfect physical models of people,
Really.
and there's a challenge there too, because the beauty of a person, the beauty of a human face, like being interacting with another human, is the imperfection. Like my
It
nose
really
is not
is.
perfectly symmetrical. Like I have, a little more wrinkle on this side of my face than over
My
here.
facial hair grows unevenly. So that's the beauty
Exactly.
of being a person. And that's
Exactly.
something that AI takes away. So you want to be careful of that. That's what makes
Yeah.
us all individuals.
Yeah. So that level of perfection that I see, like there was an AI model contest this year that I read about,
Really.
and it just wasn't to me, like, yes, were they perfect faces or whatever? Yeah. Were they perfect models? Sure. But that's
Conceptually,
not
it's cool.
conceptually, yeah. And like if I'm playing a video game or like doing like, then that's perfect. But if we're
Yeah,
trying
that's
to show,
different. Yeah.
yeah, if we're trying to show somebody like we're a company you can trust, then don't put out pictures of fake people because it's going to be like weird. Or like be yourself and people will want
Yeah.
to work with you. Try to put something out that really isn't who you are as a company or things like that. That ends up causing problems in my experience.
Yeah, and something we've talked about a lot, both you and I and the team, is the level of personalization that is required in modern marketing. So something that we've noticed a trend of as a marketing company, and I'm sure in your vast amount of experience, is that people are tired of being traditionally advertised to. I saw you post about it the other day on Facebook, and it's so true that people are looking, actively seeking clever ways of being aware of brands. They're not
Mm-hmm.
wanting, a buy one, get one, or like 50% off. People are just so tired of seeing that. I can't tell you how swiftly I click off of those every time I'm looking at a new business's
Yeah.
website, especially as a young person who I've grown up my entire life in the age of the digital
Yeah.
age. And so I am so used to seeing those things that they do not work on my age group. They really do not. So
Yeah.
that ties into AI is like you want to use a tool for its positive nature, but also not create things that are non-human because personalization in the marketing world right now is key.
Yeah, absolutely. The more that we just show who we truly are, what we can do, how we show up and serve, that makes a huge difference. And it's been so heavy on digital for 10, 15 years, if not longer now, that it's refreshing to see a real human story, a real humanized brand, because all of us buy things for us. We're humans. If we're
Yeah,
buying something, it needs to connect to our heart at some level, is my opinion.
I totally agree. And I think that the way to do that in this age of people getting so tired of being marketed to in that way is being clever and being creative.
Yep.
AI can help you in a lot of ways and spark ideas, but the creativity and the cleverness always comes from you as a person. And
Yeah.
people will respond to that better than a completely written out AI script. You and I have worked with AI a lot, and so if we see a post that's completely AI, 99% of the time we can know that that's a fully chat GPT or some kind of script. Now
Yep.
if you use that service to create a script, take certain sentences out, get ideas, and make your own script out of it, that's less noticeable and more down to earth. People will resonate with that better in my experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's ways to train, AI models on your own words. I've done that. Like there's so many ways to leverage it, but yeah, straight out of the box, it's just too canned. And all of especially the text-based AI platforms and other platforms too, all they've done is scrape the entire internet. So if you're just asking for something and posting that, you're just regurgitating what somebody else said. So it's not
Exactly.
original. And it'd be like next door to your business, there's a car shop, repair shop, and you're like, oh, I'm going to open a car repair shop. And you literally copy that and put it next door. Everybody would be like, whoa, like, what is
Yeah,
that dude doing? That seems creepy at best. I'm going to
right.
go to the brand that I know that was originally there. So
Exactly.
everything that's just those responses that come back directly are just um, they're just copied from other people and reinvented or re-engineered a little bit, but the source of it is just other people's ideas.
Yeah, and that's something you really want to shy away from. Being an individual, being creative, coming up with new ideas is really how you speak to people. It's what continues our, growth and change as people. So I think that that is a very valuable lesson. One of the last things I wanted to touch on today is a positive use of AI that we had a hand in with BrainCoach. So there is all kinds of really, really positive uses of AI, and a good example is one that we've helped a client with called BrainCoach. Would you like to explain that a little bit to teach people a little bit about this really, really cool thing that we have going on?
Yeah, so we have a longtime client that's been with us for probably 4 or 5 years at least now,
Mm,
who recently launched BrainCoach.ai. And Dr. Edwin Wu is his name, and he's an exceptional doctor with multiple different board specialties, which is pretty unique in that industry. Honestly, most people get one board
yeah,
certification and they're good to go, and that's great. But Edwin's life mission has been to always just really provide the highest level of care as a doctor. And
100%.
as he's grown up in the industry and been a doctor for well over a decade, I'm sure now, if not longer, um, he just became increasingly aware that there's this huge shortfall of doctors that we will need. Like we're in the next 5 to 8 years, I think it is, or maybe it's a 10-year mark, we will be 200,000 doctors short in the
Wow.
U.S. So who knows what else is happening across the whole world.
Right.
Um, but his goal is just to open up medical education to everybody, and that's his long-term vision. And so the first step of that is supporting what we need to solve now. And we were able to take his vision and his experience and all of his knowledge and build an AI learning assistant that will help people basically interact with their favorite resident doctor or their favorite professor and really have deep understanding of the medical topic as it relates
Yeah.
to, heart attacks and strokes and brain bleeds and all the types of things that come up. And so this tool is going to help people that are just about to join their residency at a hospital or in residency at a hospital. It's going to help them be able to accelerate their learning and just deepen the knowledge that they get, while they're in that program, and allow them just to excel as doctors and provide the highest level of care. And so it's an amazing tool. You can interact and go in and choose multiple different symptoms in a scenario that would be happening to somebody, and then it coaches you through, well, what kind of test should you run, or what kind of, what could be going on with this person. And it allows you to have this simulated interaction in such a way that it's going to make these folks be able to be learning faster, deepening their understanding, and truly become just amazing doctors. And so we've been working on that project for a year and a half. or so.
That sounds about right. It's been a while.
Yeah, and we just launched the alpha of it, so there's user testing on it. So anybody that's in that space, or even if you just want to check it out, you're free to go take a look at that.
Absolutely. Highly recommend that.
But it's been an amazing project. It's the first step in many steps of just a really incredibly amazing long-term vision that Dr. Wu has. And so yeah, we as a team here, we love getting into projects like that. We have world-class developers and designers and strategists and everybody that's involved with that, and it's been amazing to watch such a massive initiative and project. And from our awareness, that's the first medical education kind of live kind of training assistant like that in the world, which is always fun when we get to do something like that.
And it was a huge missing piece. I actually recall being in a meeting when I was more involved in strategy with Dr. Wu, who is an incredible person, I'll say.
Yes.
He was talking about there's just the process, from what I recall, is one day you're a student, the next day you're a doctor. And
Pretty
even
much.
though you've gone through those, and those are his words, as
Yep.
somebody who has been through that, and as you said, he's done more than a lot of people in that space with the amount of certifications that he has and areas that he's dabbled in. So that was a big missing piece that sparked this huge concept and huge idea that we've helped him execute in BrainCoach of what, like, the stress and all of the issues that you come across when one day you're a student and you graduate and the next day you're on an operation floor or you're in the field. And especially in the medical field, there's other fields that happens, and maybe we can explore those later on with AI. But for now, with the medical field, it was a huge missing piece. Of course, they have Google at their disposal, and of course, they have other things. But with the rise of AI and all the powerful things that it can do, it sparked this incredible idea of supporting those students who are doctors now, literally from midnight one day, student to doctor, and being able to support them in refreshing their memory on things they may have forgotten, and being able to have such an incredible tool at their fingertips. Or people who are still in school and need some help learning or quizzing themselves and things like that. BrainCoach is just, it's going to be incredible. I've seen it, come into fruition over my almost year now here at BME, and it's been quite incredible to watch. So I'm excited for all the things that'll bring.
Yeah, me too. It's been an amazing project, and we can't wait to see what else happens with that.
All right, so that's most of our topics today. Just to kind of go over what we were talking about, AI is not a one-size-fits-all tool. It's really there to help you and to serve you well, and be kind to your AI, be kind to your plants as well. So when you use AI, make sure that you have the right intention in mind. Use it to spark ideas. Use it to help embellish things. Use it to do things that are creative, but add your human level of creativeness. So there's a lot of ways to find a middle ground with AI, and I'll pass it to Gabe for the final remarks on AI and marketing.
Yes, I'm so excited we get our first episode out here.
Me too.
There's so much opportunity right now with using AI effectively, but just like Nathan said, use it with intention. Learn what it does well. Use it to expand your creativity and support your processes and save you time and help you go deeper as a human. And it's going to serve you well. And avoid what happens with all new platforms is people say, oh, copy and paste my prompts and you'll get this amazing thing. That's not how business is done. That's not how creativity or marketing or technology should be used. It should be used with intention and customized to your needs, and it should really help you support building a relationship with the people that you want to serve in business. So appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you for attending today, and we look forward to seeing you all in the next one.